not great. And I say, not me either, let's take another day off and let's meet when we're fully recovered and we've benefited from what we've been doing here, because that's the process, we've got to recover. So this is, in my mind, this is the biggest variable. You're asking me, does this apply to everybody? The frequency of how often you can train and recover varies. That's still variable. Or structurally, one exercise may be better than another. We can argue different people, different structure. We can keep that a bit in there. But some people can recover more quickly and they can train more frequently. Some people less. And then if we throw steroids into the mix, that's just increasing your recovery ability greatly. So that's why people get away with doing more than is necessary or more than is ideal all the time, but still limiting physiques. So much so he trains 6 times a week. Oh, no, it's not what's the trying. Get back to being enough. Yeah. It's not
obviously this evolution, if you go back to Benjamin, it's constantly evolving. There have only been a handful of people who seem to have taken up a big the step function.
Yeah,
You're
changing the game.
Right.
I think I saw bodybuilding in a like stripped back way. I was like, what is this? Your frame is your frame, so it's muscle mass times condition in proportion. And then when I won the Mr. Olympia, I was like, so now I've won the Mr. Olympia. The goal is really like, while I'm young and I can do this, let's see how far we can push it. How strong can I get? How big can I get? How can I combine that with very low body fat? So that was always the goal, and that was that obsessive type of drive also led to me getting injured because I was not taking a step back sometimes when I should have. But I would advise other people to do it, but I was caught up in it. And you're asking me about training partners, or I get training partners on the video shouting and everything. It's good fun, it's and everything, but not necessary. I'm going to train anyway to my maximum. I need a training partner there with good energy that's going to spot me and all that stuff. And so it was beyond like this is a career. It was a passion. I wanted to see how far I could push it, and I wanted to keep pushing, and that got me from being little gyms in Birmingham where it's not a hotbed of bodybuilding, right? To being the best in the world. So how to turn down, how to turn down the volume or the drive, it's very difficult. Maybe if I had a coach that I trusted, I don't even know if I'm coachable, but if there was somebody that was like, hey, bring it down a little bit, be careful, and so on. But I was just, I just want, actually some people did just that, like, hey, you're so good now, no one's going to catch you for 5 or 6 years if you just stay still. Just maintain it, earn your money. But I wanted to see if I could push it more, and ultimately that got me injured.
When you look at a bodybuilder today versus a bodybuilder in the 70s, I mean, they're almost indistinguishable. They don't even, they're completely distinct. They look like they're different species, right? If you go to the best of the 70s and the best of today. Obviously, genes haven't changed, but 3 things have evolved, right? Nutrition, training, and drug use.
Yeah.
How much of the complete change in physique we see today versus 50 years ago, how much of it do you allocate to each of those 3 factors? How much better is the training? How much smarter is the nutrition? And how much more elaborate and sophisticated is the drug use?
I would say drug use is probably 60-70% of it.
Wow, it's that. I wouldn't have guessed that, so I'm glad I asked.
Yeah, well, training knowledge hasn't, it's evolved, because the guys used to train like 6 days a week, training everything twice a week, and then I turned that on the head by I'm only training 4 out of 6 or 4 a week, and I'm doing each body part only once a week, so like legs once a week, back once a week. So I think
How many sets would you do per body part?
depends on the body part. Let's say
So say legs.
legs, I would do 3 or 4 sets of leg extensions with relaxed ones, absolute failure. So I've gone through quite a warm up there.
Yeah.
Second exercise compound, so it would be a squat or a leg press. I do 1 or maybe 2 warm-up sets on there, depending on how I'm feeling. So I'm bringing the glutes and hamstrings into it. And then once a failure there, and then a third exercise, let's say hack squats, I'll just do 1 warm-up set, back on medium weight, all that. So what's that? That's 7, 9 for quads.
And the failure sets are
3.
typically at what level?
So I don't know, like when you do upper body, where there's, you've got reps going, and all of a sudden it's like, it fails quite quick. Whereas the legs, just squeeze it, yeah, you can squeeze 1 more, you can squeeze 1 more. So I think legs have a bit more endurance. Marcus Jones was saying this as well. Him and Mike Menser experimented with like up to 50, 60 reps and so on. But they came to the conclusion in like 12 to 15 was given the best results. And I think that's definitely where I was, where upper body, sometimes I was doing 5s and 6s, 8s. I've never really done 9 and 10 reps.
Yeah, there was something about the lower body. Speaking about the magazines I would get in high school, I was obsessed with squatting. That was just my favorite exercise on the planet. And I remember ordering away one of these Tearaway magazines that had this workout. And this was promised to create the greatest stimulus for growth. And it's called the breathing squat set.
Oh yeah.
And it said, that's right. So just so people listening know what we're talking about in terms of pain, you take your best 10 rep weight. So when I started, this was only 225 pounds. I was 16 years old or whatever. And you put the 225 on the bar. This is the most you could do for 10 reps. You take it off the bar, you do a rep, full deep squat, come up. You take 3 breaths in 30 seconds. 10-second breath, inhale, exhale. And you do 20 reps. It's a 10-minute set. Now the magazine recommended doing this once a week, but being a stubborn boy, I did it twice a week, every Tuesday, Thursday. Within 1 year, I had taken it from 225 to 315. And I was
very good at that.
The amount I dreaded that workout each day, each Tuesday and Friday.
Yeah.
But what it did for my strength was out of this world.
Not only the strength of your body, the strength of your mind, and the resilience when you put yourself through that kind of stress is like, it goes everywhere. This strength and resilience, all aspects of your life. But we need this shit. We need some hard physical stresses and challenges. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Like I'm coming to the conclusion. Well, it's not revolutionary, I suppose, but the human body and the human mind to function optimally needs stresses, right?
Yeah.
Training, cardio, soreness, heat is
Everything that's good for you is somewhat hormetic, right?
Yeah.
It has to take you out of equilibrium. So you gave the best examples. Exercise is by far the best example of hormesis, but as is a sauna, as is a cold plunge, as is anything difficult we do. But again, exercise is the greatest example.
And it's,
everything that happens acutely in exercise is actually bad for you, right? The inflammation, the rise in blood pressure, the rise in heart rate.
Yeah.
All of these things, if left uncorrected, would be harmful.
Well, they all could kill you in extreme, right? Too much exercise could kill you, too much heat, too much cold could kill you, but it's like the right dose of the poison, I suppose, to get the reaction. Actually, I wanted to talk to you about cardio and how much cardio. And so a friend of mine read your book and is like, ask Peter, it's like, I gotta do 4 times a week, 45 minutes in zone 2, I gotta do weight training, I gotta do this. Like, it's a lot of time to invest.
Yeah, cardio is the harder one to shortcut. Again, I think you're absolutely correct on strength training. I kind of break strength training into 2 categories, right? There's the movement work and then there's the strength work. And again, strength work, I think, can be accomplished in the least amount of time based on the quality of the reps.
Yeah.
Like if you're willing to actually suffer, if you're willing to smack the dynamite as opposed to love tap it, you can have results a lot quicker. We shouldn't forget that movement matters, right? So also, as we think about something you said a minute ago, pain minimization, chronic pain minimization is important,
Yeah.
right? So it's, none of us want to be in our 80s, but and have our faculties, but be in so much pain that we can't do anything. So we do need to pay attention to the things that are going to protect our shoulders, our backs, our hips, our knees, all of that stuff. On the cardio front, there's no escaping the unfortunate reality that because our lives are largely very sedentary for most of us, we do have to tax that cardio system through exercise. And the general rule, which is true if you're me, or Paddy Pogacar, the greatest endurance athlete on the planet, right?
Yeah.
The general rule is the same. About 80% of your total cardio volume needs to be about zone 2, this low intensity, hard enough that you can still talk, but not but not want to, right? That's the litmus test for it.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to nail down. So I'm out walking my dog. Good pace. I'm walking for an hour. Is that zone 2? Is that?
Honestly, for your fitness, I think it's probably below. I would bet that someone at your fitness probably needs to be a little more. Which means you could either put a weighted vest on, a rucksack, and get onto some hills.
Walk up hills.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So my guess is if you were doing this back in your bodybuilding days, zone 2 would be perfect because it's also maximum fat oxidation. That's the other thing to keep in mind, right? You're going to burn more fat during zone 2 than during high intensity.
As it's low intensity,
Right. So for most people, that means, again, we want to pick a walking pace if that's the method we choose, which for most people is probably about 3 to 3.5 miles per hour, right? So 5 to 6 kph. Much faster than that, and it becomes inefficient. You want to start running. And then you use the incline to determine, based on your fitness, how much tax you're going to put on the cardio system. So a really fit person will be up at 15 degrees or 15 degrees of incline, and maybe a less fit person will be at 5 degrees. But you then you fix the speed to a brisk walk, and then you add resistance that way. So anyway, that needs to be about 80% of your cardio conditioning. So what I ask people is, what I ask my patients is, hey, tell me how much time you're willing to devote to this. And if they say 6 hours a week, right, we'll work with that. If they say 3 hours per week, right, we'll work with that. But whatever the number is, 80% of it is going to be in that intensity zone. And the remaining 20% will be at a higher training zone, which we call VO2 max training. And VO2 max training says, I want you to do intervals where your ratio of rest to recovery is 1 to 1, and your working time is as low as 3 minutes and as high as 8 minutes. So for me personally, I like 4 to 5 minutes. But I like it all. The other day I was doing 8 minutes.
4 to 5 minutes in a high zone and then drop
in
down.
the work zone.
Okay.
Yep. So I'll do 4 minutes very hard, and then 4 minutes of passive recovery, almost doing nothing. So I do this mostly on my bike. So it's 4 minutes riding up a hill, and I'm not all out, because by definition, if it's all out, people do it for 20 seconds. So it's 4 minutes, such that at the end of that 4 minutes, I am gassed, but not dead, because I have to be able to do it again. And then recover for 4 minutes, and then do it again. And I'll do that 6 or 7 or 8 times. If I'm doing 8 minutes, I might only do it 4 times, right? 8 minutes on, and that 8 minutes is a suffer fest. This is not pleasant. You're not talking. You're not playing patty cakes. You're not listening to podcasts. That is, you are in the pain cave.